Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a legend launched in 2006 in 500 pieces. This is the ceramic and rose gold Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Rubens Barrichello 2, dedicated to the Brazilian Formula One ace who started 322 Grand Prix. He actually drove 326. He had 14 poles, 11 wins, and 68 podiums. Though often remembered in the shadow of his famous co-driver Michael Schumacher, Barrichello was one of the all-time greats of Formula One, and he ranks at or near the top of many leaderboards. He was exactly the kind of driver who would deserve not one, not two, but 3 Royal Oak Offshore special editions. And among Royal Oak Offshore cognoscenti, it's often considered that the Montoya and the Barrichello 2, which I have here, were the greatest of the drivers series. So now technically this watch was a 42, but make no mistake, it wears like a 44. And although if you just measure the bezel, yes, it's 42, there's a lot more going on, as we have chronograph pusher guards, and crown. So consider this to wear at least like a 44, maybe even a 45 or a 46. You'll see in a moment. 15.1 millimeters thick. From lug tip to lug tip, the watch is 53.4 millimeters, but if we include these little gas pedal or brake pedal style plots or intermediate links, the total distance is an impressive 58.6 millimeters across the wrist, which is why I'm going to show it to you on my wrist, but also opine that I think you need a bigger wrist than mine. So when I said this watch wears larger than a 42 or even a 44, this is what I mean. Does it fit? You be the judge. Personally, I think you need a 17 centimeter circumference wrist minimally to wear this well, because as I stare at it from over the top, it does look like the lugs are at or just beyond the edge of my wrist, and those little intermediate plots definitely are beyond a dispute. It is a massive thing too, so you feel it, you notice it, and it will be noticed in this combination of black, rose gold, and white. This is a very Miami kind of watch. Or maybe Copacabana, who knows? After all, Rubens Barrichello is Brazilian. Appreciate that there's a lot going on here. The strap is as integrated to the case in terms of how it tapers as it would be if this were a bracelet. So while the original Royal Oak was designed for a bracelet, and so is the Offshore, it looks just as good on a strap because the integration, especially the extension of the plots through the character lines, is well done. You can even see that the bevels of the lug hoods continue perfectly through the shoulder of the strap itself. And the strap is held to the case using screws and bars. Important for a watch this heavy and valuable. That's a lot more secure than spring bars. Taking a quick look here, you can see that we have a single fold logo style deployant clasp. This is the one with the AP logo. It is a friction fit snapshot. You can see Audemars Piguet and the logo externally. This is a brand new Audemars Piguet rubber factory strap. And then taking a quick look, you can see that the Offshore retains a lot of the basic design language of Gerald Genta's 1972 Royal Oak, but it also includes a lot of the elements of Emmanuel Guet's 1993 Royal Oak Offshore. This watch, though, goes even a step beyond. We've got those gas pedal style plots. We've got a ceramic scratch-resistant bezel that has motorsport style hex bolts in titanium. We have a disc brake like venting profile on the outer circumference. We have a center lock wheel style nut for the crown, an exhaust stack or rear diffuser style chronograph pushers. We also have small hex bolts in titanium holding these modular pusher guards and shoulder guards on. You can see that the rose gold has been polished and satinated, and though the elements here are titanium, rose gold, and ceramic, the level of finish is the same you would get on a steel Royal Oak, which is to say no compromise and laboriously applied by hand, including contrasts like polish and satination. We have a little chimney inboard of the bezel that's in rose gold, and then we have a dial that is beautifully layered with the lowest level actually skeletonized to reveal the Dubois de Praz 2840 vertical clutch chronograph module below. And I do mention the chronograph being a module on top of the base because you can see how the date is actually sunken down. Well, you're looking down past the module because the base movement carries the date. That's why it's always so sunken into the dial on an Offshore. We have sub-registers. We have Chronograph hours, chronograph minutes, constant seconds. We have rose gold hands with a lovely grill-like style. And then we have applique rose gold hour indices on a silvered track. Outboard, we have a cantilevered and concave tachymeter scale that can be used with the chronograph to gauge the speed of something moving fast, such as a race car over a kilometer. We'll do a quick loom shot right here so you guys can get a good view of that. And then we do have a screw-down crown and a case that's 100 meters water resistant, so yes, you can swim with it. The watch includes a couple of subsidiary setting modes. We'll activate those first. You can see there is a hacking or stop seconds function. Make sure we're not in the day change danger zone there. And then there's also a quick set date that allows us to rapidly cycle the date. By the way, how much do you love that serif-tastic font that they chose for the numerals? Inside, we have a JLC base. This is the JLC 899 base doing business as the Audemars Piguet 2326. You can see Rubens Barrichello's personal signature or monogram on the reverse. We have more of those hex bolts, and you can see very much like an automotive fixture, maybe the spokes of a high-performance car wheel. And underneath, we've got a unidirectional automatic winder with 38-hour power reserve, a 4 hertz beat rate, 5-position adjustment, a durable free sprung balance, because again, this is the 2326, which is based on the 899, the older 2226, and the first offshores would have been based on the 889. The difference is this is a ceramic bearing unidirectional winder with a free sprung balance. It's a more modern base caliber, and it's fairly thin, which is why this watch winds up being actually thinner than the later manufacturer base movement Royal Oak Offshores. So that's JLC inside, and if you have any objections to that, remember JLC is the watchmaker's watchmaker, haute horlogerie, and long in business with Audemars Piguet dating back to the 1870s, and actually AP owned 40% of JLC until the year 2000. So this is a very organic combination of Audemars Piguet and JLC in a watch influenced by RB. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.